Okay. So up to that point, we spent 2 hours making sure we've laid that foundational groundwork for these for the what I would say is the new material that we're going to be concentrating on. Okay, we'll scroll back up here.
So far, so good, Angie.
Thank you, Susan. Thank you for that warm feedback. Alrighty. Now, in this next section, you can see this is really when we get into the real juicy stuff. And we're going to start off from 11:15 to 12, really beginning to be more specific with the data decision rules that we can make within the standard protocol approach. That includes a data evaluation system. That's shifting from a teacher referral to a team referral process. So we're going to start by making sure, again, we all understand what we mean by data decision rules for intervention. And we're going to do this by digging into the guidelines for data decision rules document using a jigsaw activity. This activity is described for you in pretty good detail in your facilitator notes. And what I'll do is, again, kind of show you what it looks like from the website point of view. We're going to need to make sure we model the navigation. So at this point, we were on the home page, and that's where all of our good intro pieces were for those first 2 hours. And then we're going to make sure that we show folks that in the top right-hand corner, we have a navigation bar. And now we're going to go to the second page, which is Data Decision Rules for Intervention. And we're going to click on that page. And when we click on that page, you'll see the activity that we just referenced in the facilitator notes. And so we're asking folks to either refer to the data decision rule guidelines that you've handed them if you're using hard copies, or we're going to ask them to click on those data decision rules, which will be coming up momentarily there. And this is taking them to the live binder where those data decision rules live. And they can either keep it in the live binder or they can download it by clicking on that link. But regardless, you can see here that in these guidelines, you see the 6 questions that require data decision rules, or 6 questions that can be answered through the development of data decision rules. And once you see the 6 questions here, you're going to see each one of those expanded upon in these guidelines. So that's the basic structure of the guidelines themselves. And so what we're asking folks to do with those guidelines is to, again, in your notes, you'll see we're asking you to create groups of 6, okay? And that most likely will require some cross-LEA grouping, but the main idea is that you're going to need groups of 6 people in them. Once you have your groups of 6 people formed, you're going to assign or have them grab a question that's on this jigsaw puzzle. So you need to each one of these questions assigned to one of those 6 members. Once that's been done, as in all good jigsaw activities, the people with the same questions will get together. And so here you see how will we determine if our course report is effective for our population. We will say, if you have this question, go to this side of the room. Everyone gets together. They read that portion of the data decision guidelines. They have conversation around that, and they make notes on their puzzle piece. Once those conversations have taken place, the original group of 6 comes together, and each puzzle piece will have a chance to report out. And as I'm listening to what your group talked about, I can make notes on my template as well. And so by the end of that activity, we've filled all of our puzzle pieces together. Those directions are pretty well laid out in your notes. And in this one, it's really just one single slide. I mean, you might not want to even take the time to expand it. You might stay right there at website as you provide those directions. Okay, so that was right before lunch, a 45-minute activity to make sure that everyone has gotten, I just really dug into those guidelines and had an opportunity to have a conversation about them.